This design tutorial, we're going to do an epic Stanley design. So, hi guys, welcome back to a brand new Photoshop design tutorial. My name is Manny, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you guys how to do this very simple Stanley design that you're seeing right in front of you. Alright, so let's get right into it. As you guys can see, I've already got my layers here open again, and we're going to start right away just with a new empty layer on the same canvas. If you guys are new to canvas sizes, please have a look. On the channel is a tutorial where I'm teaching how to work with the canvas sizes and all of that stuff. Alright, so I'm going to go all the way down, create a complete new empty layer. First of all, I'm going to take the marking tool from the left hand side, going to fill it up completely and hit right click inside of the marking tool selection here. And I'm just going to say fill this up here. I'm going to take contents black, okay, and we are done. Great, so we've already got a black background, so we can start working right on top of that. Next up, I'm going to go to view, new guides, horizontally. I'm going to say here 50%. And just put a guideline in the center, view, new guide, and 50% again for vertical. Obviously take a bit more time. I'm doing this quite quickly. Alright, so what I'm going to do next step now is opening again the design box here, and under the backgrounds I've actually found a pretty cool background online again. I'm going to just drag it all the way to the top so it looks a bit like a C, pretty cool. And that's basically the background that I'm going to use today. First of all, what I want to do with this background is to actually just desaturate it, so take all the color out. So for that, I'm going to go back to adjustments here to the top, and we're going to go to hue and saturation adjustment layer. We're going to select that. I'm just going to make a bit of space here. Let's maybe select the history box here so we can just make a bit more space, so we can also see the layers. Alright, great. So what I'm going to do is just take the saturation all the way down. So just pull the slider all the way down, and ready, we have a little bit of a gray image here. Great. So most probably afterwards, once we're done, I'm still going to take the background layer here and just take the opacity all the way down a little bit. So it's just getting a bit more darker from our background layer from the black one. So it just stands out a bit. Okay, let's take the opacity up again. We can maybe do that at some other stage. So I'm going to actually leave it now. 50%, that's okay. And we already have our background. So again, I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard, select all of the layers, press Command G, and put everything together in a group. Now, I'm working with a Mac, so that's why I said Command. If you're a Windows person, please press Control when I say Command. Okay, so I'm going to write now background. Great, so that's our first step. Now, what I still want to do also is just turn off here this background layer. I also saw that I had another fill color layer in here. Well, we're going to maybe play with that in the end, but for the start, this is actually good enough. Alright, so next step that I want to do is just get into the shapes. So a few tutorials back, I taught you guys how to do your own custom shapes. If you guys still remember that, have a look at that tutorial. If you have forgotten about it, or if you're new, also have a look at that tutorial. So what I want to do is go basically to the shape tool down here on the left hand side, right click, and you can also go over to the custom shape tool. So just literally hit right click here. Custom shape tool, I'm going to go to the top to the library here, and you guys can see I've got a ton of different shapes. Also have a look in the description. I've added again links for you, websites where you can also download more shapes. Now what I want to do is just search for a certain shape here, and right at the top I've got this shape over here, a little bit like an octabox there, and what I want to do now is just select it. Okay, so we can close again our shape library here. I'm going to hold Shift now on the keyboard, and just randomly in the room here on the canvas I'm going to make a big size of the shape. Great, so now we've already got our shape. It's still filled up with color and it has a stroke around, so let's adjust that a little bit. I'm going to go back to the shape tool over here so we can get into the shape application bar, which is right here at the top. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just fill, supposed to be no color in there, so I'm going to select the first transparent, and then the second one over here, the stroke, I'm going to set, you can also do it transparent, or if you want to set it to a full color. I'm going to set it to white, and as well it shouldn't be 2 pixels, a little bit too much, so maybe around 1.50 something. Let's have a look. Cancel this, yep, and that's getting a little bit thinner, so that looks really nice. Great, so we've got that, that's perfect. Now what I'm still going to do is just rotate that a little bit. For that, I'm going to go back to Edit, transform path and just say here rotate counterclockwise, or you can also just clockwise. Okay, again I can still see these outlines, they irritate me a little bit, so I'm going to hide them. Again, I'm going to press Command, Shift and H all together. Now it's being hidden. Again, Windows people, please use Control when I say Command. Great, so we've got the first step. Now what I want to do is maybe just rasterize this layer so it's not a shape, but maybe let's do that in a little bit. So maybe we still want to transform this. Yeah, so we're going to take the text tool, also on the left hand side. I'm going to make a nice big selection over here, and I'm just going to write here Stanley. Okay, you can also obviously write whatever you want to, your brand name, whatever you want. Great, so the font is already selected, it's already the right font, and the distance also looks pretty good. So let's also talk about this a little bit. I'm going to select all, and first of all, the font that I've selected here is Helvetica Neue. You guys can also find that again in the description down below. Then as well, I've set this to bold so it stands out a little bit. The size as well, 41. Let's have a look if I'm going to accept it first of all and take the move tool and just move that around a bit. Yeah, and I think I'm going to make it a little bit more bigger. Let's have a look. Yep. Text tool on the keyboard again. Also remember the shortcuts. I'm going to select all of it and literally just make it around 42. Yeah, 43, that's alright. Okay, I'm going to accept it, and just with the move tool, move it somewhere here into the center. So I'm kind of roughly now looking that it goes in between the letters here and roughly also in between the letters. So the spacing is also nice already. Let's select the text tool again. I'm going to select all of it. Quickly going to move over to our character box, which is here on the right hand side. If you guys don't have the character box, please head over to Window and select character box. So under the character box here, the tracking is around 80%. So yeah, that's why it stands out so nicely. So also remember, you have to work with the tracking here. Great, accept it. And I think now the background shape and the Stanley text here is working good. So we can actually rasterize this shape number 3 layer. So I'm going to hit right click, rasterize, and the reason why I'm doing that is now because I can cut out now the background shape really easy. So I'm going to select the marking tool and just make a big selection around here. Maybe not too much. We first want to concentrate on the top. So I'm going to move the selection up a little bit, hit delete, great, and a little bit to the bottom, and I'm having a look if this distance is pretty much the same. I'm also doing this really quickly. Take a bit more time when you do this. Again, Command D, get out of the selection, and we already have our first start. Now, let's get back to shapes again. What I want to do is again go to the shape tool, again custom shape, again back to the library, and I'm going to search for an anchor that we've also built in another tutorial, which I'm going to show to you guys right now. So if you haven't seen this before, go and watch that tutorial. Okay, and I found it. Over here we have our anchor shape. So I'm going to select that as well, hold shift on the keyboard so it's equally expanding, and I'm just going to make a rough anchor over here. Again, we still have to go back to the application bar, tweak this a little bit. First of all, stroke, nothing please, and fill it up with white color. Great, so that's perfect. Now again, I'm going to hide the outlines, Command Shift H. Okay, take the move tool, move it back into the position. Okay, somewhere around here, that looks good. The sizes also looks good to me. Great, so next step, again, a complete new layer. I'm going to move this layer, actually I'm going to leave the layer there. I'm going to take the marking tool, literally make a small line over here, just really roughly as well. Hit right click inside of the selection please, fill it up with white color as well. So under contents, we're going to go just and select white. Okay, Command D, get out of the selection. I'm going to press Z on the keyboard, zoom in a little bit, take the text tool again with T on the keyboard, and as well I'm going to make a selection here. Okay, and I'm going to write now established or something, whatever your slogan is, whatever you want to write, maybe since or something. I'm going to write established 1990, something, 1990, yeah. Okay, make this a bit smaller so we can actually see what we're typing, and here's a little mistake. Great, so established 1990. Okay, select all of it, and I think I'm going to use the same font again. So Helvetica Neue, which is also in the description. And as well, I'm going to select the thickness to be just light so it stands out really just a little bit. Then as well, I'm going to take the font size and just make it a bit smaller, half of that size, and going to work a little bit more with the tracking over here. So let's push the tracking a bit more to around 300. Okay, accept it. Move tool, and let's have a look. I want to have it in between of the A and the L. Maybe it can actually be a little bit bigger. So again, the text tool, select all of it, make it a bit bigger, around 8 pixels, and take the tracking just down a little bit again. Great, accept it. Let's move it over to our line here. And now first of all, what I want to do is just work on this line a little bit. So again, I'm going to move back to layer 3 here, take the marking tool once again, and just make a rough selection, hit delete, and just delete that little piece over there. Again, the same over here. Remember, I'm doing this really quickly. Take a bit more time when you do this. Command D out of the selection, and as well from the top, I'm going to make the line a little bit thinner just so it stands out a bit better. Okay, great. So move out a little bit, and I'm going to take layer 3 and establish 1990, the text, and just have a look. If we're going to zoom out a bit, move that a bit around. Yeah, and that's perfect so far. Again, I'm going to go to view, clear the guides. Nope, not a new guide. Please clear that. Great, and we've already got our logo, which looks brilliant. Again, let's sort our file quickly over here. Again, I'm going to take the 2 layers from the text, Command G again. We can put that into a text group, and as well the rest into a shape group. Okay, background, shape, and text all together, design, and that's it. Great, so that is design number 2. Maybe let's put that 2 behind that so we know what's going on. I'm going to open it once more, go back into background, back to the background layer, and as I mentioned earlier in the tutorial, I'm just going to tweak it a little bit more to 48. Great, so it's just a little bit standing more out. Great, so I really love it actually, it looks great. Let me just compare quickly here again. That was my first design. Okay, I've obviously taken out the background layer and the second one. Yeah, so that's basically it for today's tutorial, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you like this, don't forget to hit the thumbs up there for me. Share with all your buddies who are new to this, and don't forget to subscribe. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.